Welcome back. I've battled, raced, and survived my way through hundreds of Play Store titles, from Call of Duty Mobile and Brawl Stars to the deepest hidden gems. I've played the absolute best and the absolute worst of mobile gaming, giving me the ultimate radar for what makes an app truly worth your time and battery life. If you want to stop wasting your phone storage on trash games and only play the absolute best, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. I do the hard work of testing everything so you don't have to, bringing you zero hype expert reviews to level up your gaming experience.
Let's be honest, most zombie survival games on mobile feel exactly the same. But Darkest Days is actually a massive open world experience that surprised me. You start with absolutely nothing in a huge wasteland and have to scavenge to survive. The graphics are honestly incredible and it feels like playing a console game on your phone. I love the fact that you can find and drive different vehicles to squash zombies. It is not just a mindless shooter because you also need to build and manage your own shelter. You can even recruit other survivors you find in the wild to help defend your base. The game has full multiplayer so you can team up with friends or fight other players for loot. Just be ready because the game file is huge, sitting at around 3 GB to download. If you want a proper survival RPG experience without compromises, you need to try this one. Tower defense games usually get boring after a few hours, but this one is completely different. Draw Arena Battle Tactics lets you literally draw your army formations right on the screen. You fight against real players in live battles, which makes every single match unpredictable and fun. What makes it awesome is how you have to adapt your tactics on the fly while watching your opponent. You get to unlock all kinds of crazy units like robots, archers, ninjas, and even a giant mammoth. Every time you win a battle, you earn stuff to upgrade your tower and make it stronger. The art style is super clean and colorful, making the chaos on screen easy to follow. It is the perfect game for when you just have 5 minutes to kill but want something exciting. The matches get crazy addictive once you figure out the best strategies to steamroll the enemy. Definitely download this if you want a smart strategy game that does not waste your time. Finding a decent superhero action game on mobile is rare, but this one actually delivers. Spider-Girl drops you into a dark and gritty city where you fight crime as a ghost spider hero. You basically run around beating up gang members and mafia bosses in full 3D environments. The combat feels fast and fluid once you start unlocking crazy combos and new special moves. You can jump into the air, use super abilities, and chain together some really cool attacks. It honestly reminds me a bit of those old school beat 'em up games but with modern graphics. The best part is that it runs super smoothly even though it is only around 200 megabytes. Upgrading your character keeps the gameplay loop fun because you always want to see the next skill. It is not an official game, but the developers really put effort into making it feel exciting. If you just want to switch off your brain and punch bad guys, this is a great choice. This next game is probably the funniest and weirdest thing I have played all year. Duck Detective Secret Salami puts you in the feathers of a detective trying to solve crimes. It is a cozy story game where you go around interviewing suspects and looking for hidden clues. The entire thing is fully voice acted and the dialogue will actually make you laugh out loud. My favorite mechanic is how you can just stare at people intensely until they finally confess. The story involves a massive salami conspiracy, which should tell you how serious this game takes itself. It is a short experience clocking in at about 3 hours, but every minute is super high quality. The puzzles are clever without being frustrating, so it is really relaxing to just play in bed. You can play the first 2 levels completely free to see if you like the humor before buying. If you want a chill mystery game with a lot of charm, you have to give this a shot. Sometimes you do not want to save the world, you just want to do some hard virtual work. Lumberjack Simulator 3D is a first-person game where you literally just chop down trees. You start with nothing but an axe in a huge forest and have to build a wood empire. The tree-cutting mechanics are surprisingly realistic, from chopping the notch to trimming the branches off. Once the tree is down, you have to carry the heavy logs and load them onto your transport. You even get to fix up an old rusty pickup truck and drive it through the muddy off-road trails. As you make money, you can upgrade to a massive sawmill and automate your whole production line. The graphics look great, and it is honestly incredibly peaceful just walking around the wilderness. It gives off huge farming simulator vibes, but focuses entirely on the forestry side of things. If you find repetitive work games satisfying and relaxing, this will definitely hook you in. Action role-playing games on phones are usually ruined by pay-to-win nonsense and autoplay. But Portal Ranger 2 feels like a genuine old-school adventure that respects your time. You play as an archer running through huge dungeons and wildlands while fighting hordes of monsters. The combat is entirely skill-based, so you actually have to aim your arrows and dodge attacks. The loot system is insanely deep, letting you craft gear and unlock crazy legendary weapons. What I really love is that you can play the entire game completely offline without any internet. The graphics are sharp and smooth, making every boss fight feel epic and action-packed. It is easy to learn at first, but gets really challenging later on when the enemies swarm you. The developers keep adding new items and spells, so there is always something new to discover. If you miss proper hack and slash games that focus on loot and skill, download this immediately. There are a million sniper games out there, but most of them feel cheap and fake. Ghost Sniper War FPS Shooter actually feels like a proper tactical military game for your phone. The bullet physics are insanely realistic because you have to calculate for gravity and target movement. You travel around the world taking out targets in dusty deserts, ruined cities, and dense jungles. The graphics are straight up console quality with dynamic lighting and really detailed environments. You can customize every single part of your rifle from the scope down to the barrel. The best feature is that the entire campaign can be played offline anywhere you want. You really have to use cover and plan your shots because the enemies will actually fight back. It feels so satisfying when you finally land that perfect shot from a mile away. If you want a heavy and realistic shooter without needing Wi-Fi, this is the one to get. This game is pure, unadulterated chaos in the best way you could possibly imagine. Neon Spellstorm is a fast-paced action roguelite where you play as a crazy powerful wizard. You are basically sprinting along a neon path that is constantly collapsing behind you while enemies swarm in. The terrain is made of voxels, and it literally shatters into pieces as you blast spells everywhere. You can combine over 28 different magic attacks to create absolutely insane combos. The runs are always different because the loot and levels are generated randomly every single time. Between runs, you can spend your collected gems to upgrade your permanent stats and unlock new wizards. It offers a free demo with no ads, and one simple purchase unlocks the entire game forever. The visuals are so bright and flashy that your brain gets that instant shot of dopamine. If you love survivor-style games with massive explosions, you need to try this right now. This is another logging game, but it focuses way more on driving and building a business. In Lumberjack Driver, you start out by harvesting trees and throwing them into your little truck. But soon you are driving massive loads of timber across the map to different construction sites. The cool part is that your deliveries actually help build up and expand entire towns. As you complete contracts, you earn money to buy bigger vehicles and better equipment for your company. Eventually, you can automate parts of your workflow so you make money even when you are chilling. It is a very relaxing gameplay loop that feels rewarding every time you finish a big delivery. The driving physics are fun, and planning out your routes makes you feel like a real boss. It's stripped away the stress of normal driving games and just let you enjoy the progression. If you like casual tycoon games and truck simulators, this will keep you busy for hours. Runner games on mobile usually feel exactly the same, but this one has a really cool concept. Era Evolution Run starts you off as a single caveman with a club running down a track. As you move forward and hit multipliers, You grow into a massive army and upgrade through history. You go from the Stone Age to medieval knights, modern soldiers, and eventually high-tech cyborgs. The goal is to smash everything in your path and defeat enemies while dodging dangerous obstacles. It is one of those games you can play with just one thumb while waiting in line somewhere. But it actually requires some good timing and quick reflexes to keep your army alive and upgraded. The progression system lets you upgrade your weapons and stats so you can push even further. Watching your tiny squad turn into a futuristic killing machine is strangely addicting and satisfying. It is a perfect little time killer that gives you a nice feeling of constant upgrades and power.